So hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to Creatrix channel. So first of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Vishal Soni and I have cleared engineering services examination 2 times from electronics and telecommunication branch, both times in double digit rank. In 2014 my rank was 98 and in 2015 my rank was 25th. I have served as a Group A Gastro Officer in Indian Railways and in Indian Telecommunication Services. So most of you must have been following me on the Creatrix channel for electromagnetic field theory. So if you are a seeker of a free education, this is the channel for you, and you must understand that all these free initiatives is coming your way because of the Unacademy. So Unacademy is the revolution in the field of the free education and the affordable education. So how can you access those free courses? So if you want to access the free courses, you must immediately subscribe this channel, Creatrix channel, because all the top educators of the country is providing the free course on this channel. And that free course is absolutely brilliant in content, that is systematic, that is organized, and that is complete. So complete playlist you will be getting of a particular subject. You can develop the concept, you can gain confidence. More than that, you can love the subject. So immediately subscribe this channel. Secondly, if you want to access more free content, then you must immediately download the Unacademy Learners app, because on the Unacademy Learners app, top educators of the country are conducting the free special classes. In that free special classes, you can get topic wise clarity of a particular concept. And do not forget to follow me on the Unacademy Learning app. So you can also access the courses. So you must have two things. First is your YouTube channel. This YouTube channel, Creatrix YouTube channel, must be subscribed. Secondly, you must understand that you should have the Unacademy Learning app. That is must for you in order to crack the examination. So these are the parts of the free education. And if you want to organize your content well, if you want more comprehensive manner, if you want other advantages of the Unacademy, then what are the other initiatives that is running by the Unacademy? So another initiative that is running by the Unacademy is Unacademy Plus. So on the Unacademy Plus, this is very affordable for those who actually want to take their preparation to the next level. So आपको Unacademy Plus में क्या क्या मिलेगा? You will be getting the live classes on a fixed time, so that you can get more disciplined, you can get more organized, and you have something in your mind that at this particular time my classes are going to run. Apart from that, you will get free test series designed by the educator itself. So gone those times when we have lot of errors in the test series, we do not have the discussions of the test series. So there the test series will be conducted by the educators. They themselves will be discussing the solutions of that particular thing. So you can imagine that your preparation is going to the next level for this. Apart from that, those who have prepared themselves for the examination, so for them there are crash courses also available. Again the crash courses will going to help you in achieve good ranks. Those who have already achieved good ranks and want to improve their rank, for them there are rank improvement batches. More than that, you can also see that there are unlimited practice sessions. So what do you understand by unlimited practice session? Which means there will be various doubt solving sessions. Apart from the doubt solving sessions, there are weekly quizzes, and with the help of those weekly quizzes you can enhance your problem solving skills. So lot of unlimited doubt solving sessions, lot of quiz sessions, systematic content, structured content. You can download the PDF after the lectures, so you don't have to waste your time in order to making notes. You can utilize those times to practice the particular concepts, or you can use those times to just write down the formulas so that you can remember those formulas quickly. Apart from this plus subscription, there is also one subscription which is known as Iconic. So Iconic subscriptions are for them who actually do not have the self motivation but having the talent. So if they are having the talent and you do not have the self motivation, that how can I push myself to crack the examination, so in this Iconic subscription you will be assigned a personal coach. So this personal coach is going to be with you every time, and he will help you to achieve your dreams. You will get a study planner which will be customized for you. You will get the expert guidelines who have already topped the examination. They will be basically hand holding you to crack the examination. So if you think you are not self motivated, if you think you do not have the proper background to crack any particular competitive examination, so this Iconic subscription is must for you. This is going to help you. So if you want the free education, then YouTube channel and the special classes are must for you. And if you can afford a little bit, how much you should afford, that we'll discuss in a while. But if you can afford a little bit, you should come on to this Unacademy Plus. And more than that, if you want the expedited process in your preparation, आप जल्दी से एग्जाम निकालना चाहते हैं, जल्दी से अपनी गलतियां सुधारना चाहते हैं, so this Iconic subscription is for you. Then now let us start today's lecture, which is on the communication system. So now let us start the lecture. Hello friends, so in the last lecture we studied about the band limiting process. Now we saw that for every signal
we need to conserve the low significant frequencies, and if a signal is having infinite bandwidth, then it must be reduced to a signal of having finite bandwidth by retaining the significant frequencies. Now in this lecture we will study about baseband signals. So what are the baseband signals? So basically the baseband signals are practical message signals, or in other words you can say that the baseband signals contains significant low frequencies in it. Also, the lower cutoff frequency of baseband signals is either 0 or very close to 0, such as voice signal. The voice signal has frequency range from 300 Hz to 3.5 kHz. Similarly, audio signal. The audio signal has frequency range from 20 Hz to 20 kHz, and a video signal has frequency range from 0 to 4.5 megahertz. So if I will make the spectrum of voice signal contains frequencies from 300 Hz to 3.5 kilohertz. So voice signal is a real signal. So the spectrum of voice signal will always be even in nature. So the positive frequencies it will have from 300 Hz to 3.5 kilohertz, and since it is a real signal, so the spectrum must be even. That is why we need to consider the equivalent negative frequencies also. So it becomes minus 300 Hz to minus 3.5 kilohertz. This is kilohertz. Similarly, for audio signal, the audio signal is having frequency range from 20 Hz to 20 kilohertz. So the spectrum will be starting from 20 Hz and it will move to 20 kilohertz. Similarly, in the negative side also, it is minus 20 Hz, it is minus 20 kilohertz. Now, in both the spectrums, you can observe that the lower cutoff frequency here is 300 Hz, it is 20 Hz here, and it is containing the significant low frequencies, and these low frequencies are from 300 Hz to 3.5 kHz, and it contains from 20 Hz to 20 kHz. In both the cases, the lower cutoff frequency is not equal to 0, so it comes under the category of baseband signal. Now we have another category in which the lower cutoff frequency is 0, so the baseband signals which have lower cutoff frequency exactly equal to 0 are known as low pass signals. So low pass signals are another category of baseband signals in which the lower cutoff frequency is exactly zero. For example, video signal. The video signal has frequency range from 0 to 4.5 megahertz. It is also a real signal, so the spectrum must be even in nature. So let me draw the spectrum. This is x of f versus f. Now, first of all, I will make the positive frequencies. So the positive frequencies will be from 0 to 4.5 megahertz. Similarly, I need to draw equivalent negative frequencies. So the negative frequencies comes out to be from 0 to 4.5 megahertz, and this is the spectrum of video signals. So you can observe from here that the lower cutoff frequency is exactly 0. That is why it comes under the category of low pass signals. So in general, I can say that a baseband signal is a more general term, and it can have lower cutoff frequency not equal to 0, but this should be close to 0. And in other categories, the lower cutoff frequency can be exactly equal to 0, and such signals are known as low pass signals. And one last note is that all the practical signals, all the practical message signals are baseband in nature. So what do we mean by message signals? So what are the modes of transmission of message signal? Either we can send our voice, or there may be some musical instrument through which the audio can be reached to the receiver, or there may be some video transmitter through which a video message signal is transmitted. So basically, there are three types of message signals on which we will be focusing, although there are data type of message signal, picture type of message signal, but we are focusing basically on voice, audio and video type of message signals in our discussion of communication system. So voice means the speech signal which is transmitted by human to the receiver. The audio signal means the signal which is transmitted by some musical instruments or the signal which a human can listen. And video transmitter means some video signal can be transmitted to the receiver. Now after the baseband signal, we come to the bandpass signal. So let me give name to baseband signals. The baseband signals are naturally existing signal, and these bandpass signals are fabricated signals, which means any practical message signal does not exist in band pass nature, rather they always exist in baseband nature, and from that baseband nature we fabricate or we make a band pass signal. So what is a band pass signal? A band pass signal is obtained by shifting the spectrum of baseband signal to very high frequency. And for this shifting purpose, we use a carrier signal, or with the help of high frequency carrier signal. So suppose we have a message signal which is a video signal. So we know that this is a baseband signal because in this the lower cutoff frequency is exactly equal to 0. Now if I will multiply this signal with a high frequency carrier, so the resulting signal S of t will be the band pass signal. So this is the band pass signal, this is the baseband signal, and this term is your high frequency carrier signal. So this is high frequency carrier signal. Now we know that S of t will be m of t cos 2 pi fct, and we can write s omega as m of omega plus omega c plus m of omega minus omega c by 2, or we can write s of f as m of f plus fc plus m of f minus fc by 2. We know that spectrum of message signal is m of f versus f from minus 4.5 megahertz to 4.5 megahertz, and this peak value I'm assuming as m0. So now what will be the spectrum of S of t? This is our baseband signal and this is your band pass signal. So we've already drawn the spectrum of S of f is m of f plus fc plus m of f minus fc by 2 by 2. This represent shifting in the right side by fc. So this is the shifting in the left side by fc, and this represents shifting on the right side by fc. So how will we get the spectrum of S of t? So the spectrum will be shifting in the direction of, this is fc, this is fc plus 4.5, this is fc minus 4.5, and this is megahertz. Similarly on the negative side also, this will be minus fc plus 4.5 minus fc minus 4.5, and this peak value becomes m of 0 by 2. Now you can see that the spectrum which was limited from 0 to 4.5 megahertz now has been shifted to a very high frequency, and it is occupying the frequency range from fc minus 4.5 megahertz to fc plus 4.5 megahertz. So this is the spectrum of a band pass signal. And this is the spectrum of a baseband signal. So you can say that the term m of t multiplied with carrier, this particular term always results in a band pass signal. where m of t has to be a baseband signal. So whenever a baseband signal is multiplied with high frequency carrier, it is resulted into a band pass signal. Now let us understand what is a wideband signal. Suppose we have a signal x of t, and this x of t has spectrum something like this. So this is 0, this is some frequency fm, this is minus fm. So what you can notice here, the higher cutoff frequency is fm and the lower cutoff frequency is 0. Now if we will take the ratio of fh by fl, it becomes very much greater than 1. So all those signals in which the ratio of higher to lower cutoff frequency is very much greater than 1 are known as wideband signals. Or you can say that all the baseband signals has lower cutoff frequency either 0 or roughly 0. So for all the baseband signals, fh by fl is bound to be very much greater than 1, or you can say that all the baseband signals are wideband signals. So all the baseband signals are wideband signals. So this is very important statement. This statement you must remember. Now we come to the narrowband signal. What is a narrowband signal? Suppose we have a signal x of t which has spectrum something like this. This is FL, this is FH. Now whenever the ratio of FH by FL is roughly equal to 1, all those signals are known as narrowband signals. So we know that the spectrum that x of t possesses matches with the spectrum of band pass signal. All the band pass signals are narrowband signals. So let us have an example. Suppose I'm taking the example of voice signal. So this is your voice signal. This voice signal has spectrum from 300 Hz to 3.5 kilohertz. Similarly on the negative side also, this is your M of minus 300 Hz to minus 3.5 kilohertz. Now if I will convert it into a band pass signal, so suppose I am multiplying this signal with mt cos 2 pi into 10 to the power 60. So the spectrum of S of f becomes m of f plus 10 to the power 6 Hz plus m of f minus 10 to the power 6 Hz divided by 2 divided by 2. So this is indicating the left shift and this is indicating the right shift. So let me make the spectrum of S of t. So this will be the spectrum of S of t. This complete graph is shifted rightwards by 10 to the power 6. So when you will shift all the graph 10 to the power 6 by right side, so it becomes 10 to the power 6, this unit I am taking in hertz, plus minus 3500, and it becomes 10 to the power 6 minus 300. this becomes 10 to the power 6 plus 300 and 10 to the power 6 plus 3500. Similarly, on the negative side also, it will have two frequencies somewhere in between 10 to the power 6 and somewhere in between minus 10 to the power 6. So I'm just focusing on positive frequencies. So here you can see that this is your highest frequency, this is your lowest frequency. So what will be the ratio of FH by FL here? The ratio will be 10 to the power 6 plus 3500 upon 10 to the power 6 minus 3500, and you can see that this ratio is roughly equal to 1. So whenever FH by FL is roughly equal to 1, all these signals are known as narrow band signals. So the conclusion is that all the baseband signals are wideband signals, while all the band pass signals are narrowband signals. So these two basic terms you must be remembering. So here are a few important notes which you must remember onwards. So first note, I am saying that when a baseband signal is converted into a band pass signal, it is translated from low frequency to higher frequencies. So the conversion of a baseband signal into a band pass signal basically leads to the translation of lower frequencies to very high frequencies. Now let us come to a device. Now let us come to a device which converts a baseband signal into band pass signal. So the device which converts a baseband signal into band pass signal is known as modulator. So this is very important definition of a modulator. Modulator converts a baseband signal into band pass signal, or the modulator translates lower frequency signals to higher frequency signals. So the output of modulator will always have band pass spectrum. Now you can say that a modulator receives a baseband message signal and it converts it into band pass signal with the help of high frequency carrier. So if I have to make the block diagram of a modulator. So this is your message signal. I will indicate a carrier signal here, which will always be a sinusoidal in nature. So I will denote it with AC cos 2 pi FCT, and this is the modulator block. So this modulator block will always generate a modulated signal S of t, which will have a band pass nature. And obviously all the practical message signals will have baseband nature, so it will always represent a baseband spectrum. And here this Fc must be very high, or this is known as high frequency carrier signal. Now let us come to the very important discussion in which we will try to discuss an electronic communication system. Till now we have discussed a general communication system, but now we will discuss the electronic communication system. So in electronic communication system, first of all I will discuss the blocks which is present at transmitter. So at transmitter, what will be the first block is known as information source. So this is the first block, which is information source. The information source can be a human or it can be a device or anything. So I'm assuming that this information source is transmitting a voice signal. It is transmitting a voice signal. So we know that if I want to make an electronic communication, then this voice signal cannot travel through any wires or cables. So first of all, this voice signal needs to be converted into voltage or current. So I will pass it through a transducer. So the transducer will convert it into voltage and current waveform. Once it is converted into voltage and current waveform, we will pass it through a low pass filter, such that if this signal having infinite bandwidth, then it can be suppressed or it can be band limited. So this low pass filter is basically your band limiting filter. So this will be voice signal m of t, will be converted into some voltage and current waveform, and this low pass filter will limit the bandwidth if it is infinite. So this is your band limiting filter. Again the output will be voltage and current waveform. Now once you have converted it into voltage and current waveform, now I can pass it through the cables or the wires or the transmission media, which I have already discussed. So once I will use this cable to transmit this voltage and current, so this type of communication is known as wired communication system, because our information is traveling through this wire or cable from transmitter to receiver. So this is the block which is present at the transmitter. Now let us try to discuss what will be at the receiver side. So at the receiver side, the first block which will be present here will be this is your wire through which this voltage current waveforms are traveling. Now the first block at the receiver side is 1 by transducer. So what it exactly does 1 by transducer? This 1 by transducer converts this incoming voltage and current waveform into your message signal again. Now you should notice that this message signal is recovered by the receiver by only assuming those significant frequencies. So we have already discussed that receiver only needs significant frequencies to recover the message signal. So I'm assuming here that even if this transmitter was transmitting the significant frequencies or the frequencies which are having only 90% of the total energy, then only the first block, which is one by transducer, is able to recover our message signals. After the message signal is received, it is transmitted to the detector. So let me again rephrase all the terms. First of all, I am designing or I'm explaining the blocks present at the transmitter. So the first block obviously will be information source through which the information is coming. Now this information source transmits a voice signal. Now what happens? This voice signal cannot be traveled through this transducer because this voice signal is a physical signal, and a physical signal cannot travel directly through a wire or cable. So first of all, I need to convert this physical signal into electrical signal. For that, I have used a transducer which converts one type of signal into another type of signal. So this transducer converts the physical signal, which is voice signal, into equivalent electrical signal or voltage current waveform. After that, I have placed a low pass filter which is band limiting the incoming message signal so that the bandwidth of the transmitting signal can be finite. So after the band limiting, it is passed through the wired communication system. So this voltage and current travels to the 1 by transducer, and this 1 by transducer recovers the message signal by using only significant frequencies. Once the message signal is recovered, so what is it is doing here? It is converting an electrical signal into a physical signal. So this is the physical signal and it is transmitted to the detector. So what are the important blocks which you have noticed here? So the first important block was information source. So what is information source? The information source is a source of practical signal which is baseband in nature. It can be voice signal, audio signal, video signal, and so on. So the information source generates a practical message signal which is baseband in nature. Second important block we noticed here was a transducer. So what this transducer does? Transducer converts physical message signal into electrical message signal at the transmitter, and it converts electrical message signal into physical message signal at the receiver. Third important block was band limiting filter. So what it does actually, it makes bandwidth of message signal to be finite. And why it is making the bandwidth to be finite? So that it can be transmitted through a practical channel. Can be transmitted through a practical channel. And we have already discussed that for faithful transmission and reception of message signal, the channel bandwidth should be greater than or equal to the signal bandwidth. So this is the basic criteria. Now next important block which we are noticing here is a channel. So what is a channel? A channel is a physical medium through which information or message signal propagates from transmitter to receiver. And for message signal to propagate through a channel, it must have either of the following two natures. It must have either of the following nature. The nature of message signal must be either electrical signal, so that it can be transmitted through wires, cables, or in general through any wired medium, or the nature of message signal must be an electromagnetic signal, so that it can travel through free space or wireless medium. So you can notice that channels are of two types. First is wired channel and another one is wireless channel. In case of wired channel, you will have an information source which will transmit a physical signal. So this physical signal, if it is voice signal, it cannot be transmitted through a wire. So first of all, this voice signal must be converted into electrical signal, which is by using a transducer. And I will place a low pass filter here also, but I'm not showing that. I'm just showing this wired cable or wired channel. So once it is converted into an electrical signal, it is directly transmitted through a wired channel. On the opposite side, you will have another transducer or transducer inverse, which will again convert this VI waves into physical signal or voice signal. And after that, it is passed through a detector. So this is the basic block diagram of a wired communication system. In wired communication system, the key is that message signal must be converted into electrical signal before transmitting through a wired channel. So the basic requirement of wired channel is that M of P must be converted into electrical signal before transmitting through a cable. And obviously the bandwidth must be finite, because for any practical channel to be act as a transmission medium, the message signal must have lesser bandwidth as compared to the bandwidth of the channel. Now we will talk about the wireless channel. What is a wireless channel? We know that, as the name suggests, in this type of channel there should not be any wires present, or from transmitter to receiver, no physical medium should exist. So wireless channel basically refers to free space or transmission and reception of message signal via free space. So now let us try to build a wireless communication system. We have already draw the block diagram of wired transmission system. So this is the information source, and from here the voice signal is being transmitted. It was given to a transducer. The output of the transducer was voltage current waveform. After that, it was given to a band limiting filter. It has band limited the message signal, and output is again voltage current waveform. Now, once we have obtained the voltage current waveform, we used a wired transmission, and this wire was again connected at the receiver's first block, which is 1 by transducer, and finally it reaches to the detector. Here the incoming signal was voltage current, output was again a physical signal, voice signal, and detector has detected it. So this was the situation at the transmitter, and this was the situation at the receiver, and in between we had a wired channel. Now if we have to build a wireless channel, what will we do? First step will be that remove these wires which is present here. So what we will do, we will try to remove these wires. So I have removed the wire which was present between transmitter and receiver. So I have removed this physical medium. So now you tell me, this is the information source voice. It has converted into voltage current waveform. After band limiting, it again remains voltage and current waveform. Now if voltage and current waveform has to be transmitted from transmitter to receiver, can it be transmitted through free space or air? This is your free space or air. We know that any type of voltage or current cannot propagate in free space. So this voltage and current will not be propagated from transmitter to receiver. Rather, we know that in free space only electromagnetic waves can travel. So if we want to transmit the information from transmitter to receiver, these voltage and current waveform can never travel through free space. Through free space, only electromagnetic wave can travel. So the first point which we need to do is that from wireless transmission to from wired transmission to wireless transmission, the first difficulty that we faced was Vi cannot propagate through free space. But we know that an electromagnetic wave or EH wave can propagate through free space. So what we need to do, we need a device which converts this voltage and current wave into equivalent wave. equivalent electromagnetic or which is denoted by EH wave. So do you have any device which converts voltage and current waveform into EM wave at the transmitter and EM wave to VI wave at the receiver? So we know that the name of that device is an antenna. So what is the basic purpose of an antenna? An antenna converts VI waves into equivalent EM waves at the transmitter and EM waves into equivalent VI waves at the receiver by keeping the frequency of operation constant. So this is the basic purpose of antenna. So let me modify my diagram. So this is your information source. It will generate a voice signal. Voice signal cannot be translated through a wired medium. So by using a transducer, I have converted it into VI waves. Now VI waves is passed through your band limiting filter or low pass filter. So again, the output will be voltage current. We know that for wireless transmission, voltage current cannot travel through wire. And for wireless transmission, we need to convert this VI waves into EH waves. So at the transmitter, I am using a lambda by 4 antenna, and this is your transmitting antenna. What this antenna will do, this will convert this VI waves into equivalent EH waves, and these EH waves can very well propagate through free space. So what will be the first block at the receiver? The first block at the receiver will be an similar lambda by 4 antenna. Now this antenna will receive this electromagnetic wave which is propagating through free space, and it will convert it into equivalent VI waves. After that, we will have one by transducer which will convert this voltage and current waveform into voice signal, and here we will have our detector. So we were trying to design a system from wired transmission to wireless transmission. So initially what we thought that for wireless transmission, the basic need is that we must remove the wires. So we removed the wires. After removing the wire, we came to know that VI cannot travel through free space. So we used an antenna. We provided an antenna here so that this voltage and current waveform can be converted into EM waves, and it will be easily transmitted through the free space. But let me design this antenna, and let us see, can we design an antenna for such type of systems, or this systems needs further modification. So till now I am just going through the evolution of a wireless transmission from wire transmission. So initially what I did was I removed the wire from transmitter to receiver and connected an antenna so that free space has propagation of electromagnetic wave. Now let us try to design the antenna, and let us see if we can design a feasible antenna. So in the next step, we are discussing designing of antenna. So which signal we are transmitting? We are transmitting voice signal, and voice signal has frequency range from 300 Hz to 3500 Hz, and this will be the spectrum of the voice signal. So this frequency is 300 Hz, and this frequency is 3500 Hz. Now, let us try to design the antenna. We used lambda by 4 antenna, which means the height of antenna is lambda by 4. Now, what is this lambda? Lambda is nothing but c by f. C is the velocity of light and f is the frequency of incoming signal. So the incoming signal was voice signal, which is a baseband signal, or we can say that which is a low frequency signal, and it has frequencies from 300 Hz to 3500 Hz range. So first of all, I will design my antenna with the lowest possible frequency. So the lowest possible frequency here is 300 Hz. Based upon 300 Hz, if I will calculate lambda, so it will become 3 into 10 to the power 8 upon 300, or it becomes 10 to the power 6. So now let me divide 10 to the power 6 by 4. So the height comes out to be 10 to the power 6 by 4. I can write it as 100 into 10 to the power 4 by 4, or I can write it as 250 kilometers. So the voice signal has frequencies from 300 Hz to 3.5 kilohertz, and suppose the voice signal which has been generating has frequency of 300 Hz. So for that particular frequency of 300 Hz, we need the antenna of height 250 kilometers. Now let me design the height of antenna with respect to the higher frequency. So the higher frequency here is 3.5 kilohertz. The height will be lambda by 4, and we know that lambda is c by 4. So it will become 3 into 10 to the power 8 divided by 4 into 3500. So what is the value of this? Is comes out to be 3 into 10 to the power 8 divided by 3500 divided by 4. So this comes out to be 21428.57, or you can write it as 21.42 kilometers. So we have two different antenna heights. With respect to lower frequency 300 Hz, the antenna height was 250 kilometer, and with respect to the higher frequency 3500 Hz, we needed an antenna of height 21.42 kilometers. So as the frequency varies between 300 Hz to 3500 Hz, the height of antenna should also vary between 21.42 km to 250 km. So now tell me, if I have to design an antenna, so what would be the height of antenna? Suppose if I have designed the antenna of 21.42 km, which is the antenna height with respect to higher frequency, then if lower frequency such as 300 Hz comes, then this height of antenna will not be able to transmit the frequency of 300 Hz. So what I'm saying is, if I have designed my antenna with respect to higher frequency, so I will design an antenna of height 21.42 km. Now if a lower frequency such as 300 Hz comes, so this cannot be transmitted by using antenna of height 21.42 km, because it needs the height of 250 kilometers. Now let us see this with another aspect. Suppose if I design my antenna with respect to 300 Hz, So I will design the antenna of height 250 kilometers. Now, if I have designed the antenna with height of 250 kilometer, can the higher frequencies be transmitted? Obviously, because the higher frequency, which is the 3500 hertz, requires antenna of height 21.42 kilometer. So if you have designed the antenna of 250 kilometers, then that all the higher frequencies will require a lesser height, and you can transmit that particular frequency. So here I am writing the golden statement, which you must remember, that antenna is always designed with respect to lowest possible frequency of message signal. So this you must remember, that whenever you have to design the height of antenna, always consider the lowest frequency, because for the lowest frequency you will get the highest value of its height. So once you will get the highest value of height, then all the higher frequencies will require comparatively lesser height, and those can be transmitted by using the antenna. Because you cannot always alter the height of antenna, you cannot install antennas of different heights. Suppose you have installed the antenna of height 21.42 kilometer, and if a frequency of 300 hertz comes, so you cannot instantly install an antenna of 250 kilometers. So this is the reason that antenna is always designed with respect to lowest possible frequency, so that highest height of antenna can be received. So now let us see the drawback of this arrangement. What is the drawback of this arrangement? Drawback, you can easily observe, for transmitting the voice signal, the height of antenna varies between the range of 21.42 kilometers to 250 kilometers. So the voice signal frequency is varying from 300 Hz to 3.5 kilohertz, and to cover all the frequencies we need to vary the height of antenna from 21.4 kilometer to 250 kilometers, or at max I must design antenna of height 250 kilometers. So now tell me, is it practically possible to design an antenna or install an antenna which is 250 kilometers long? This is practically not possible. Practically not possible. This means the arrangement that we did in the previous case, which is this, to make a wireless transmission from wired transmission, is not completely true, because the height of the antenna, which is lambda by 4, it is not being practically achievable. So this system needs some modification, or this system is not practically true. So what we were doing the evolution of wireless transmission from wire transmission. So initially we removed the wire and converted VI waves into EH waves, but this conversion is practically not achievable because the height of the antenna is practically not achievable. Now why do we require this much height of antenna? So because these voice signals are baseband signals or low frequency signals. So whenever the input of an antenna will be low frequency signal, it is always going to require very high value of H. So what should be the modification do we need? So for the modification, if we want to reduce the height of antenna, then we know that H equal to lambda by 4, or we can write it as C by 4F. Then we need to increase the frequency of incoming signal to the antenna. So how can a low frequency signal can be translated to a high frequency signal? Do you have any block or any device which can translate your low frequency signal to high frequency signal? So we know that we have a block named as modulator, and what does modulator do? It converts the baseband signal into a band pass signal, or it basically transmits lower frequency signal to higher frequency signals. So let us modify our wireless transmission. So what we will do, we will again have this information source. It will transmit the voice signal. The transducer will convert this physical signal into voltage current waveform. We will have a low pass filter which will band limit this frequency. Now, till now, the nature of the message signal was baseband. Here also it is baseband, and after band limiting it remains baseband. Baseband contains significant low frequencies, so height of antenna will be very high. So we need to translate these lower frequencies to a very high frequency, and for that we have a block known as modulator. And with the help of a carrier signal, this modulator will convert this baseband signal into band pass signal. Again it is voltage and current waveform. So here you will use an antenna of lambda by 4 height at the transmitter, and it will convert VI wave into EH wave. So what will be at the receiver? At the receiver, you will have first block as receiving antenna. After that, obviously, you will have a demodulator. What this demodulator will do? It will convert the incoming band pass signal into a baseband signal. Again, we will use 1 by transducer. This will convert VI waves into physical signal, that is voice, and this voice signal is now transmitted to the detector. So let us try to analyze when this low frequency signal, which is baseband signal, is translated to high frequency signal by using this block modulator, whether we are able to achieve the practical height of antenna or not. So initially the voice signal had frequency range from 300 Hz to 3500 Hz. Similarly, on the negative side, it has minus 300 Hz to minus 3500 Hz. Now, once it is translated to higher frequencies, so this S of F can be written as M of F plus Fc plus M of F minus Fc by 2. So you will shift your frequencies to higher frequencies. So this 0 reaches to Fc, it becomes Fc plus 300, this becomes Fc plus 3500, and this becomes Fc minus 300 and Fc minus 3500. We know that if we are able to design the antenna for the lowest possible frequency, it will allow all the higher frequencies. So I am designing my antenna height, which is lambda by 4, or you can write it as C by 4F. Now the lowest frequency is Fc minus 3500. Now this carrier frequency which is used here, I am assuming it is in the range of megahertz or it is 1 megahertz. So this frequency becomes 10 to the power 6 minus 3500 hertz. So the height will become 3 into 10 to the power 8 divided by 4 into 10 to the power 6 minus 3500. So what will be the value of this particular expression? It will become roughly 75 meter, and the height of antenna becomes 75 meter, which is very much less than 250 kilometers. and this 75-meter height is practically achievable. So now you can see that this modified wireless transmission is very well working, and the height of this particular antenna is practically achievable. So what is the conclusion? The conclusion is that if you want to design a wireless transmission, then the wireless transmission requires an antenna, because VI waves cannot travel through free space, so you need an antenna. And the height of antenna depends upon the frequency of the incoming signal. So if the frequency of the incoming signal is low, then the height of antenna becomes very large and it cannot be practically installed. So whenever wireless transmission needs to be implemented, we need an antenna, and to achieve the practical height of antenna, the incoming frequency to the antenna must be very large in nature. And we know that all the practical signals are baseband in nature. So to translate the baseband signal or the low frequency signal to high frequency, we definitely need a block known as modulator. So the bottom line becomes that wireless transmission is not possible without modulators. So wireless transmission is not possible without modulators. So let me show these working in the form of a flow chart. So suppose we have a message signal m of t, which is baseband in nature. So this is baseband message signal, and for this baseband message signal, lower cutoff frequency will be either 0 or very close to 0. So if I have to transmit it wirelessly, then we need an antenna. We know that antenna is always designed with respect to lower cutoff frequency, and if lower cutoff frequency is 0, then height of this particular antenna, which is inversely proportional to the lower cutoff frequency, will tend to infinite. So practically the antenna cannot be installed. So what I will do, we have to convert this baseband signal into a band pass signal by crossing it through a block known as modulator, and with the help of a carrier signal, this modulator will convert this baseband signal into a band pass signal. We know that for band pass signals, lower cutoff frequency is very much greater than 0. Now this band pass signal, if we want to transmit wirelessly, then this height of antenna is 1 upon FL. FL is very much greater than 0. So H will have some finite practically achievable height. So this is the complete process of a wireless transmission, that baseband signal cannot be transmitted wirelessly. So this baseband signal is converted into a band pass signal by using a modulator device, so that it can be transmitted by using a antenna of practical height. So the modulator is basically translating the low frequency signal to the high frequency signal, or it is basically converting a baseband signal into band pass signal. So what exactly the modulator is doing? So you can say modulator is translating low frequency message signal to high frequency, or it is translating a baseband message signal into a band pass message signal, or you can say that it is converting a wideband signal into narrowband signal. So these are the operations performed by the modulator, and the purpose is that a wireless transmission can take place over a long distance. Now we can say that modulator is a device which converts a baseband signal into band pass signal. So demodulator will be a device which converts a band pass signal into a baseband signal. So now let us discuss what is a carrier signal. So till now we have understood that the modulator converts the baseband message signal, it may be voice, audio or video, into band pass signal with the help of carrier signal. So while translating this baseband message signal into bandpass message signal, we always want that baseband message signal need not to be affected, which means we will put our message signal in an envelope, and now this message signal should not be affected. Now out of this envelope I will place my carrier. So if I have to send my message signal from one place to another place, so what I will do, my message signal should not be affected at all. Now this carrier signal might change any one of its characteristic. So this carrier signal may have different characteristics, lambda 1, lambda 2, lambda 3. So it can change its characteristics, but this message signal should not be changed. So this carrier is basically carrying this message signal from one place to another place without affecting this message signal and affecting itself. So the carrier signal affects itself in carrying the message signal from one place to another place. So the carrier signal carries the message signal from one place to another place without affecting the message signal, because this is the very basic purpose of the communication system, that message should not be changed. So what happens, the carrier signal carries the message signal from one place to another place without affecting the message signal, and if any change is to be needed, then carrier signal changes any one of its characteristics in order to carry the message signal. So this is very basic discussion that what is the purpose of the carrier signal. So this carrier signal changes any one of its characteristics in order to safely transmit the message signal from one place to another place. So this message signal is a baseband signal. With the help of carrier, it becomes bandpass signal. So you can visualize that this message signal lies inside this carrier signal, and this carrier signal changes its characteristics and transmits the message signal from one place to another place. So the statement should also be clear that carrier signal carries the message signal from one place to another place without affecting the message signal, and in between, carrier signal changes any one of its characteristics in order to carry the message signal. So now, for the course of the communication, we will be using a sinusoidal carrier always. So we will use a high frequency sinusoidal carrier. We will denote it by C of t, and the expression of the carrier will be AC cos 2 pi fct plus phi. So here you can see three characteristics of the carrier. One is amplitude, which is AC. Another one is frequency, which is Fc. And third one is phase, which is phi. So carrier signal will change any one of its characteristic, whether AC, Fc or phi, in order to safely transmit the message signal from one place to another place. So now the final definition of the carrier signal, I can say that it is a high frequency sinusoidal signal, high frequency sinusoidal signal which modifies itself in order to convert a baseband message signal into a bandpass modulated signal. So this is the basic purpose of the carrier signal. Now let us understand what is a modulation. So till now we have understood about the modulator. From there you can easily understand about modulation. So what does modulator does? Modulator converts a baseband signal into bandpass signal so that the transmission of baseband message signal can be performed wirelessly. So in the same manner you can define the definition of the modulation, then it is the process in which some characteristics of carrier signal is varied, and the characteristics may be either amplitude or angle, and angle contains both phase and frequency. In accordance with baseband message signal, so that baseband message signal is converted into band pass modulated signal and it can be transmitted wirelessly over a long distance. So sometimes this baseband signal is also known as modulating signal, and this band pass signal is also known as modulated signal. Suppose if C of t is AC cos 2 pi fct plus phi. So the general expression of modulated signal can be written as A of t cos 2 pi fct plus phi t. Now, in the first case, if A of t has linear dependency on mt, while this phi of t is constant, then it corresponds to an amplitude modulated signal. In case 2, if A of t is constant but this phi of t has linear dependency on mt, then it becomes the case of phase modulation. And in case 3, if this A of t is constant and d phi t by dt has linear dependency on m of t, then it is known as the case of frequency modulation. So we will study all these 3 cases in very detail. This is just I'm giving an idea, and here one fourth case can also become when both A of t and phi of t depends on mt linearly. So it becomes the case of both AM as well as angle modulation. So these are the different cases which we have to study. Thank you.
So if you have liked today's lecture and you want to subscribe to Unacademy Plus, the very first thing that you should understand that you should use this particular code. What is the code? The code is VishalGate. Write my name and attach gate to it. So by using this particular code, you will be getting all the advantages of the Unacademy Plus. All the added advantages will be directly assigned to you. Secondly, you will directly come to under my guidance, and that will surely help you to crack the examination in the least possible time, and you will also get the guidance of the complete team. Okay, and the most important thing is that you will immediately get the 10% discount on that. So immediately you are enabled to get 10% discount once you use this coupon code. So for example, if you talk about the Plus subscription, which is costing you 25,000 for 1 year, and if you use this coupon code VishalGate, immediately you are going to get 10% discount, which is 22,500. And if you talk about the Iconic, for the Iconic subscription of the 12 month, this will cost you around 40,400. So these are the cost of the 12 months. And if you want to talk about the 2-year subscription cost of the Plus, it is your 27,000 after discount. If you want more discount than 10%, and you have already attended the special classes, then you will be having some credits in your account. Do not forget to use those credits so that you can get more discount than 10%. Now, how can you pay these amounts? So there is one good news for you, that you can pay this amount by using credit cards and debit cards by using the facility of the zero cost EMI. So if you want to pay this particular amount of 22,500 with the help of zero cost EMI, so the zero cost EMI can be availed by using credit cards and debit cards. Remember, you can use the credit card of any company, but the debit card is allowed for HDFC and the Bajaj Finserv. Apart from that, if you want to directly pay this much of amount, you think that this particular amount is the most affordable fees that can be provided to you for 1 year subscription. तो आप directly क्या कर सकते हैं? You can use this credit card, debit card, direct payment. You can also go for the EMI options, okay, and you can directly pay this amount by using net banking. Every time you think of the Unacademy Plus subscription, the first thing that should come in your mind is this particular code. Do not forget to use this code once you take the subscription, because I have already told you that this particular coupon code is going to give you the lot of advantages, so you cannot miss the opportunity to use this code. So every student who want to come on to the Unacademy Plus, they want to take the advantages of the Unacademy Plus, they want to empower themselves in the best possible manner in this digital era, they want to be the part of this revolution, then this is the time for you. You do not have to wait for it. If you are in the first year, if you are in the second year, you are in the third year, the best possible time is right now to prepare for the examination, to dedicate yourself, to give yourself the opportunity so that you can get the success as early as possible. Apart from that, you should also join this GATE aspirant group. So this GATE aspirants group is already having 150k plus students, so you can join it. There are a lot of discussions going on between students. You can get the advantage of those discussions. Okay. You can also join this Creatrix channel, which is a Telegram channel. So everyone has to join this channel so that you can get all the PDFs of the lecture which is being assigned to you. Fine. There are various channels which you can go for it. So various channels in the association with Creatrix. So you can follow the channel of your interest. And this is it in today's lecture. So let us meet in the next lecture. Thank you so much.